Good evening and many thanks for joining us. I am Answane Sonyasi and this is QTV News coming to you from our studios on Carabra Avenue. Here are the main news headlines. Now, as part of preparing local media to cover the upcoming OIC summit in Banjul, the Gambia OIC Secretariat, through its sub-media committee, organized a day-long training on Thursday for journalists to enhance their coverage. Mrs. Anna Jan, the Gambia-born Director of Administration and Finance of the ECOWAS Parliament, who was part of the ECOWAS election observer mission to Senegal, has hailed the people of Senegal for the peaceful conduct of their presidential election. And the Ma Foundation for Women, in collaboration with UNDP, on Wednesday commemorated International Women's Day, which is commemorated on the 8th of March annually. And in sports news, the Newcastle Chronicle in England has reported that Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe has a strong interest in recalling Gambian international Yankuba Minteh from his loan spell in Holland in time for pre-season. And in international news, Malang Bekai Sana Jr., the son of Guinea-Bissau's ex-president, is jailed for over 6 years in the United States for drug trafficking. Well, stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And we now take a look at the news in detail. Now, as part of preparing local media to cover the upcoming 15th summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Banjul from the 4th and 5th of May 2024, the Gambia OIC Secretariat, through its media subcommittee, on Thursday organized a day-long training for journalists to enhance their coverage. Alusise was among the participants and he now reports.
This training for these journalists, drawn from TV, radio, print and online media, is to equip them with the required knowledge, skills and ethical foundations necessary to report effectively and respectfully on the summit. Lasana Tunkara, head of the media subcommittee, and Fali Fadera, head of communication and branding of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, respectively, acknowledge the importance of the summit to the Gambia at the global stage and the critical role the media has in its success. While expressing appreciation of the support received from the media so far, they say the media coverage of the summit will help shape perceptions in a positive image about the country, both domestically and internationally.
We have a chance to promote a positive image of our standard of journalism and of the Gambia as a whole, a nation committed to democracy, press freedom, and the values of inclusivity and tolerance. Therefore, this training today goes beyond merely equipping ourselves with the technical skills and knowledge necessary for effective coverage. It is about embracing our role as ambassadors of truth and integrity, leveraging the power of media to elevate the discourse surrounding this historic event.
So I usually also tell people that it is one of the single biggest PR opportunities for us. It's a make or break moment for us, so it is up to us as a people to see and determine how we want to handle or approach this issue. There are two ways to it. It's either we take advantage of it, make the best use of it, or squander the opportunity.
Ambassador Yankuba Diba, Chief Executive Officer of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, said the summit is beyond just hosting for the Gambia, but an opportunity to showcase the Gambia as a viable country for investment and tourist destination.
Our aim is that post-OIC, the Gambia will be the hub for meetings, investments, conferences, and events. And you know what that means. We can use that as a platform to be able to bring about inward investment that would benefit women and young people.
Ade Drame, head of QTV's news department and a BBC columnist with vast experience in covering such summits, Esa Jallo, a veteran broadcaster, Demba Kande, journalism trainer, Ndeye Kumba Demba of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, and Usman Dur, former chief of protocol and diplomat, took the participating journalists through the overview of the summit, protocols, journalistic ethics in reporting in a global context, interview techniques and storytelling, and a technical aspect for cameramen and technicians.
You keep a respectful tone, you keep a professional manner in how you ask your question, in how you approach the person, okay? And throughout, just, address them, sometimes Mr. Minister or Your Highness. That's fine, because that's in keeping with what they would expect and what we should expect. And, we kind of touched on dress code. It's very important. If you're coming to a conference like this, trust me, put on your best, because you don't know who you might end up interviewing. And if the camera is on you as well as on the person you're interviewing and you look like you just come from the beach, it's not a good look.
The event ended with a mock press conference with some trainees playing the roles of some of the expected attendees to give the assembled media a sense of what they might encounter during the summit. It is hoped the journalists will put to practice the knowledge, skills and tips from the exercise to display their professional conduct and ethical reporting skills. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, Mrs. Anna Jany, the Gambia-born Director of Administration and Finance of the ECOWAS Parliament, who was part of the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission to Senegal, has hailed the people of Senegal for the peaceful conduct of their presidential election. She called on other countries preparing for elections to learn from the people of Senegal. Aliou Cissé again.
Last Sunday, the voters of Senegal went to the polls to vote for their fifth president, the result of which saw 44-year-old Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the opposition candidate, elected with over 50% of the vote. To ensure the polls were free, fair, transparent and credible, many organizations, including ECOWAS, sent delegations to observe the election. In the ECOWAS delegation was Gambian-born Mrs. Anna Jany, the Director of Administration and Finance of the ECOWAS Parliament, representing the Community Parliament. During a post-election briefing by the ECOWAS Observer Mission, headed by Professor Ibrahim Gambri and Ambassador Abdul Fattah Musa, Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Jany hailed ECOWAS for its prominent roles in the areas of parliamentary diplomacy and mediation in the sub-region. She said the ECOWAS Parliament has always involved itself in observer missions during elections in ECOWAS member states to ensure democracy is consolidated. And the Parliament was in Senegal during the political crisis preceding the voting to mediate. Mrs. Jany further applauded the people and politicians in Senegal for the peaceful and well-organized manner of the elections and hopes other member states will take a lesson from Senegal. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, Ma Foundation for Women, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, on Wednesday commemorated International Women's Day, which is commemorated on the 8th of March annually. William Kamara has more.
This event features panel discussions focused on celebrating women's achievements and delving into critical issues pertaining to gender equality and the rights of women in the Gambia, with a spotlight on the unique challenges faced by women. Fatimata Jawara Dukure is the founder and CEO of Ma Foundation for Women.
Let us not forget the invaluable contributions of our male champions who stand beside us, supporting and uplifting us on this journey towards gender equality. Their presence here is a testament to the power of unity and collaboration. As the CEO of the Ma Foundation for Women, I am humbled and inspired by the incredible individuals who have graced us with their presence today. Your unwavering commitment to championing the rights and well-being of women.
In 1967, United Nations member states adopted the declaration which states that discrimination against women is an offense against human dignity and calls on states to abolish existing laws, customs, regulations, and practices which are discriminatory against women. On behalf of the country representative, here is Rose Netinga.
Let us acknowledge the significant pantalan we have made in promoting women's leadership and participation in decision-making process, from boardrooms to classroom, from to peace negotiation.
Women's economic empowerment means ensuring women can equally participate in and benefit from decent work and social protection, access markets, and have control over resources and meaningful participation in economic decision-making processes. Fatou Kinte, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, underscores the importance of collaboration for women to achieve their full potential.
It's economically empowered. Her status is improved. The welfare of the family is addressed. When a woman earns income, the first thing she addresses is the issue of accommodation, feeding, health, and education, more especially the education of the girl child. Therefore, economic empowerment of women is not only good, but it is the right thing to do. for this reason that every country is working hard for the economic empowerment of their women.
This year's theme for International Women's Day is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. The United Nations Secretary General's statement on this year's International Women's Day recognizes and celebrates women and girls around the world and also recognizes their achievements in the fight for equality. Additionally, the statement also states how women and girls have made great gains, toppling barriers, dismantling stereotypes, and driving progress towards a more just and equal world. At this event, Fatou Kinte, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, launched a mentorship network for female politicians. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
And a report there by Lolly M. Kamara will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket.
Amazing.
With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Well, thanks for staying with us, and if you're just tuning in, be reminded you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me and Sumana Eswanyasi. Now, Child Fund the Gambia donated 2 40-feet containers containing textbooks and some solar lights to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOPSI, for distribution to schools across all regions. Mumudu Gajaga tells us more.
Child Fund has a history of making significant contributions to Gambia's education system. In addition to textbooks and solar lights, the donated materials included measuring tapes and laboratory equipment. Musukuta Komma Ba, Child Fund's country director, says children's education is of utmost importance to them.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that to explore the world, you have to read. And the reading cannot be substituted for anything. That said, I want to encourage the school children, boys and girls, to be curious about books. These books that we are donating are complementary to your compulsory textbooks. The selection was very diligent because we shared a long list with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, who went through the list one by one to ensure that whichever book they are selecting is going to complement the existing textbooks for each of the subjects.
According to research, the reading culture amongst Gambian students has dropped drastically. Aliu Mendy, manager of the Dinding Yurua Federation, advises students to read more to enhance their knowledge and skills.
Most of the time, the books may be misused in the sense that the control in the libraries or wherever is lost. So let them put these things into good use. Specifically, the lighting system that is accompanying these materials. Our objective, and specifically the objective of Child Fund, is to make sure that these lighting materials are used by children themselves, because the objective is for them, and not necessarily for the brothers, the fathers, the uncles to use it as their normal lighting system at home. No, it's specifically for the children. I call on to the parents also to help Child Fund to make sure that these lightnings are put into good use and not misused in another direction.
Ensa Bojang, the senior education officer at MOPSI, thanked Child Fund and its partners for the foresight to donate learning materials. He gave an assurance that the materials will reach the various schools across the country.
Child Fund is one of our true partners in development, particularly, because child phone, like other speakers said, education is an enterprise. An enterprise is very expensive.
Reading books is extremely important, as avid reading can lead to the acquisition of good information and increased knowledge. In addition, Sustainable Development Goal 4 is about quality education and is among the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations in September 2015. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Our time now for international news.
Junior has been sentenced.
Now, Malang Bekai Sanya Jr., the son of Guinea-Bissau's ex-president, is jailed for over 6 years in the United States for trafficking drugs to fund a coup and his presidential campaign in Guinea-Bissau. Jan Basongo has the details.
Malang Bekai Sanyang Jr. has been sentenced to 80 months in prison for his involvement in a transnational heroin trafficking conspiracy, the U.S. Justice Department announced. He planned to use the proceeds to finance a coup in West African country that would lead to his eventual presidency and establishment of a drugs regime, a statement released by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Texas. Sanyang Jr. is accused of importing heroin from several countries to Portugal and also from Europe to the United States. His father, Malang Bekai Sanyang, was the president of Guinea-Bissau from 2009 until his death in 2011. Sanyang Jr. has been linked to a failed coup in Bissau in February 2022. He was extradited to the U.S. in August 2022 following his arrest in Tanzania a few weeks earlier. After the coup attempt, President Omaru Sissoho Embalo hinted to reporters that the attackers could be linked to drug trafficking. Malang Bekai Sanyang Jr. trial began soon afterwards, and in September last year, he pleaded guilty to conspiring to illegally import drugs. U.S. authorities say he could be deported following his imprisonment, as he is not an American citizen. The 52-year-old, known as Bekai Zanu in Guinea-Bissau, has held several roles in the government, including as his father's economic advisor. The case highlights the complexity of the drug problem in Guinea-Bissau and the connections between drug trafficking, organized crime, and political actors. Guinea-Bissau is considered particularly for heroin and has experienced 9 coups and attempted coups, as well as several political assassinations since gaining independence from Portugal in 1974. Some of them can be attributed to drug cartels that have had a firm grip on the West African countries since at least 2005. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Guinea-Bissau has become one of the most significant entry points for cocaine from South America on its way to Europe. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Osongo.
And now on to some sad news. A bus carrying worshippers in the city of Limpopo, South Africa, plunged off a bridge on a mountain pass late on Thursday, killing at least 45 people in an incident described as tragic and painful. As Loliam Camera reports, an 8-year-old girl is the only known survivor.
In this latest incident, the bus crashed through a barrier and caught fire when it hit the ground in the northeastern Limpopo province. The victims are said to be pilgrims traveling from Botswana's capital, Gaborone, to an Easter service in the town of Moria. According to authorities, the only survivor, an 8-year-old girl, is currently receiving medical attention and is in a stable condition. Authorities say 34 body bags have been taken from the scene, but only 9 bodies are identifiable due to damage to bodies caused by the fire. Additionally, a Limpopo health official told South African broadcaster ENCA that body parts from separate crashed victims may have been put into different body bags, which is why so far only 9 bodies have been identified. A statement seen from the presidency said that South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has sent in his condolences to Botswana and pledged to support the country. According to experts, Reckless or negligent driving is a significant contributor to road accidents in South Africa, and it is essential for drivers to understand the risk associated with these behaviors. Also, a study by the South African Medical Journal found that 71% of fatal accidents in South Africa were caused by driving. South Africa had more than 12,400 road fatalities in 2022, the most recent year for which statistics are available. In a statement released last year, the Automobile Association of South Africa called the traffic deaths a national crisis. In the Gambia, as our road infrastructure is being upgraded, we are witnessing a continuing and a concerning record of traffic accidents, with many lives being lost. Provisional data from the Mobile Traffic Unit reports an increase in the number of fatalities in road traffic accidents. In 2023, more than 1,000 accidents were registered in the country, with over 140 people losing their lives. Road accidents on the Batin-Harding Highway have raised concerns among officials in the Gambia Police Force, transport sector, and the public. Meanwhile, in South Africa, this latest incident is forcing the country's poor road accident statistics back into the headlines. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Well, our prayers and thoughts are with the people of South Africa during these difficult times. Well, time now for some sports news. Now, the Newcastle Chronicle in England has reported that Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe has a strong interest in recalling Gambian international Yankuba Minteh from his loan spell with Dutch club Feyenoord in time for pre-season training. Mamadou Kajaga tells us more.
Feyenoord head coach Arne Slot believes Newcastle United's dynamic young player Yankuba Minteh will have many more alternatives than extending his loan term with a Dutch club if he continues his remarkable improvement. The Gambia international's loan stint at the Rotterdam club has been a resounding success, with 8 goals and 3 assists already this season. Newcastle United's manager Eddie Howe will take a careful look at Minteh throughout pre-season before deciding whether to add him to the squad or send him out on loan again. Slot, one of Europe's most renowned coaches, after leading Feyenoord to the title ahead of Dutch giants Ajax and PSV Eindhoven, noted Minteh's extraordinary pace as one of his greatest assets. However, he indicated that he will probably be saying farewell to the 19-year-old at the end of the season. Slot said he has mostly played a lot in his native country, where very little tactics are involved. When you are fast, though, it is a huge weapon. One action and he is gone. Then you don't catch up with him. I think his choices are already getting better in the final stages. The only annoying thing for us is that if his choices get really good, he probably won't play with us anymore. Newcastle signed Minteh for an initial fee of £7 million from OB Odense in Denmark before loaning him immediately to Feyenoord. On Newcastle's fan forums, contributions are already expressing their wish to see the speedy youngster in their team next year. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
And I'm afraid that's all about it for this bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap from main headlines. Now, as part of preparing local media to cover the upcoming OIC summit in Banjul, the Gambia OIC Secretariat, through its media subcommittee, organized a day-long training on Thursday for journalists to enhance their coverage. Mrs. Anna Jany, the Gambia-born Director of Administration and Finance of the ECOWAS Parliament, who was part of the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission to Senegal, has hailed the people of Senegal for the peaceful conduct of their presidential election. And the Ma Foundation for Women, in collaboration with UNDP, on Wednesday commemorated International Women's Day, which is commemorated on the 8th of March annually. And in sports news, the Newcastle Chronicle in England has reported that Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe has a strong interest in recalling Gambian international Yankuba Minteh from his loan spell in time for pre-season. And in international news, Malambekai Sanya Jr., the son of Guinea-Bissau's ex-president, is jailed for over 6 years in the United States for drug trafficking. That's all for this bulletin. Do join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for more news. Until then, thanks for watching.